There's trouble in paradise, folks. The Sussexes, royalty's answer to John Lennon and Yoko Ono, have directed hundreds of thousands of dollars from their charity to politically controversial figures. This according to bombshell documents seen by the New York Post. Now, it's abundantly clear which side of the political aisle the world's most famous champagne socialists inhabit, with the couple having invested heavily in top Democratic Party-aligned projects. Now, their California-based non-profit organization is called the Archwell Foundation. By the way, that's a name partly comprised from their eldest son's name of Archie. What an example of narcissism that is in its own right. Oh, our offspring is so precious, so treasured, such a blessed gift to the world, we must name our charity after him. That poor kid had barely been out of the womb before his name was used by the Sussexes in yet another PR exercise. Exactly like stealing the name Lilibet for their daughter, Lilibet being the treasured and intimate pet name used by Prince Philip for Queen Elizabeth. But hey, nothing is sacred for Harry and Meghan, who, it's my understanding, didn't even seek permission for the use of that name Lilibet from its owner, the Queen. Now, controversially, the Archwell Foundation allocated just under $150,000 in 2023 to someone called George Craig, an independent media strategist described as the Democratic Party's go-to expert on a range of issues, including countering disinformation. Now, we know that just the term disinformation is already very highly politically charged, given that we've had a lot of big tech censorship during the pandemic and since. Sensitive issues around immigration, the war in Ukraine, free speech, media bias, all of those issues are often branded as disinformation as a way of closing down public debate and demonizing people for questioning net zero, enforcing the reality of human biology, pushing back on America's blanket military support for Ukraine, or taking the now controversial view that borders are there for a reason and should be policed effectively. God forbid. All too often, ordinary people are silenced, and anything said online that doesn't fit the prescribed woke narrative, a lot of which in my view is the very definition of misinformation, is characterized as hate speech. It's deeply concerning, therefore, that this royal couple, and I'm going to keep calling them royal because they insist on hanging on to their royal titles, it's concerning that they should choose to engage in this divisive and highly partisan effort at censorship. It's my view that the people who endlessly bang on about misinformation and hate speech just want you to stop debating things. They don't want you to have freedom of thought, and they certainly don't want you to have a voice. It's egregious to think that this privileged and famous couple should seek to participate in the silencing of ordinary people, which is what talk of misinformation normally boils down to. Now, the aforementioned George Craig, who is so left-wing she makes Ronald Reagan look like Karl Marx, received a further £120,000 from the Archwell Foundation in 2022, and $25,000 was donated to the Marcy Lab School in Brooklyn, where, you guessed it, Craig joined the board last year. How cozy. Now, I've got no doubt that Craig is a very nice lady, a very professional person, very good at her job, but she is politically compromised. She's a veteran Democratic election strategist, rising to Senior Director of Digital Strategy at Greenberg, Quinlan and Rosner in 2016. Now, the firm's website highlights its role in Bill Clinton's 1992 presidential victory and its ongoing efforts to help clients campaign, win, govern, and win again. And by clients, they mean left-wing ones, obviously. Now, reports indicate that during the last election cycle, the firm worked to push back on narratives and speculation about Joe Biden's age and negative commentary about his family. Perish the thought that people should worry about Joe Biden's physical fitness for high office or his son's alleged criminal past. We can't have any of that misinformation, can we? Now, Archwell also contributed $90,000 to Markup News, a New York-based nonprofit supported by billionaire Democratic donor George Soros. Yikes! The foundation's financial support for progressive democratic causes has sparked huge criticism, and rightly so. Niall Gardner, a fellow at the Conservative Heritage Foundation and a good friend of mine, has called for congressional scrutiny of Archwell's donations. He said Harry and Meghan still retain royal titles and should not be engaging in any way in political activity. It is outrageous. Well, of course, he's right. Now, Archewell's largest donation of $250,000 went to the Women's Wellness Space, a Pennsylvania-based charity aimed at supporting vulnerable women. Well, we can get behind that. That's not a problem, is it? Nothing to see here. Vulnerable women, happy days. Except that the charity was founded in 2023 by Ashley Biden. Do you recognize that surname? Yep. Daughter of former President Joe Biden, who, by the way, was in top physical health for the entirety of his presidency. Why this flirtation with the leftist figures in US politics? Could this reflect Meghan's long-term political ambitions herself? Does she want to be president of the United States? May God help us. I mean, let's be honest, her ego is so big. If she entered the White House, she'd make Donald Trump look like a shrinking violet. Whatever the motive, this couple have shown their true colours. And those colours are various shades of democratic blue. This is, by the way, a crushing embarrassment for King Charles and the British monarchy, who have always stayed fastidiously out of politics. The same can't be said for Harry and Meghan, who were felt to have effectively backed Kamala Harris in the run-up to last November's presidential election. In a perceived push to boost turnout to help Harris's cause, the couple encouraged voter participation in a video for Time 100, where Meghan called it the most important election of our lifetime. And what did she mean by that? Why did she use those words? Harry also urged people to reject hate speech, misinformation, and online negativity. Woke leftist shorthand for conservative opinion. While they did not explicitly support a candidate, the couple's remarks were widely interpreted as being critical of Donald Trump, given Meghan's past negative comments about the orange one. How lucky, therefore, that Trump has decided very generously to spare Harry a proper investigation into his visa application and possible deportation after Harry allegedly omitted details of his previous drug use. Now, do you remember the good old days when we didn't know what royals thought? The Queen's political opinions remained an elusive mystery for her entire 7 decades on the throne. But all we hear from Harry and Meghan is what they think about everything. What they think about politics, what they think about climate change, about media disinformation, about the price of eggs. Enough already. Obviously, Meghan can say whatever she likes, but the son of the King of the United Kingdom to be donating to left-wing figures and seeking to influence the outcome of a US presidential election is unconstitutional, unethical, and unacceptable. But that's Harry, who's been responsible for an effective scorched earth policy on his own family and the great institution of the British monarchy, which made him the man he is today. What short memories these people have. And whilst established members of the royal family like Charles and Camilla and William and Kate stay above politics in order to unite people, Harry and Meghan are more than happy to divide and conquer. This highly political couple are a disgrace and an embarrassment. If only we could throw them out of office. Thank you for watching. I have so much fun with Harry and Meghan. Endless material, I think you'll agree. Listen, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell because I often do emergency hot take monologues about lots of big royal stories, big US news, big UK stories, all of the above. Plus, if you want more of my content, head over to my Substack at markdolan.com, where I do live videos, written journalism, and an ad-free video experience. That's markdolan.com. I'll see you there.